it's Omicron. Falcon hates puns and thinks that they're all wrong. One's American and one is an Aussie. Talking about StarCraft 2 and the esports scene.
Hello and welcome to the podcast. We're back, Falcon. It's been so long.
It has been far too long, and it's entirely my fault. I'm very sorry.
How dare your kids have band practice and performances, and how dare you do things with your family on a public holiday? How dare you, Falcon?
I know. Pretty horrible stuff.
Terrible, terrible. I'm cutting your pay.
Yeah, that's... You know what? That's entirely fair and reasonable. I don't know. I feel like we switched to Monday, and then suddenly it's like, everything's on Monday. It's like, oh, okay. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's it. Kids are out of school, and I don't think there are any public holidays on Monday for the next few months anyway.
I have literally no idea.
I know. I'm saying it like you know, but you don't. So whatever. We'll be good. We'll be fine.
We'll be fine. We'll be here regular time for a little while.
Every time. Yep.
Does Christmas fall on a Monday?
Oh, right. Great question. The internet said, oh, it is on a Monday this year. That's great. That's really funny.
Oh, look at that. We'll be here until Christmas.
Yeah.
Make you work it as punishment. Like you have to do a podcast on Christmas. Just you. I won't be here. I'll still be spending time with my family.
Yeah, no, that sounds good.
Yeah, perfectly reasonable.
See, American Independence Day is on a Tuesday this year. Veterans Day is on a Saturday this year. Okay. Juneteenth. Oh, Juneteenth is on a Monday this year.
Do you get Juneteenth off?
I do. I don't think we have any family stuff planned for it, though.
Yeah. It's never too late to start planning.
That's true. It's kind of a new thing, at least as far as like being a federal holiday is concerned.
It only came in like 3 years ago, I think. Around then, yeah.
Yep. So
Fair enough.
Maybe we will. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's coming up too.
Yeah.
2 weeks. Good heavens. Whatever.
Ooh, oh boy.
Whatever indeed. Cool. All right. What do we have to talk about? We have a lot of stuff to catch up on, I feel like.
Not a lot of StarCraft to talk about. That's disappointing.
True.
That's pretty disappointing.
It is. But what do we got? They're going to continue ESL Summer, right?
Yeah. Like
when's that?
That's an excellent question.
Let's see.
April to July. Probably.
Europe's done. America's is done.
Oh man, the playoffs, like the finals, aren't even till like July 28th.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, we got time. It's fine.
But they're done with the regionals. Asia's done.
I don't know what to tell you.
So now we're waiting on the. No, we did a bunch of qualifiers too. So like, apparently, I don't know what this is. It's a bunch of Chinese people, and then like an Australian is in here.
Oh, I was looking at World Team League Summer. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah, no. DSL SC2 Masters 2023 Summer.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
We've got participating players. Max Pax forfeited his spot and was replaced by Reyna because Max Pax doesn't play offlines.
Correct, for some reason.
And then we're in the seeding stage. Those haven't been played.
Okay, so that's what we're waiting on.
But those come from regionals, like the participants in that's come from regionals. It says to be determined, so the regionals are still going.
What? No, I just went through all the regionals. They're done.
From the combined standings is still to be determined.
Europe, Americas, and Asia are done.
But the combined standings aren't. So there are still minor tournaments that give out EPT points.
Oh.
Or ESL points, or whatever they're called.
All right. Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. So we're waiting on little tiny unimportant events to happen. Neat.
It's probably
important.
Probably important for the people that play them.
True. A lot of stress, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have some people who've qualified already, though. Estrella, Classic, Bunny, Beyond Clem, Cure, Morrow, Olivera, Spirit, Dark Rainer, Scarlet, Serral.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep.
It's a pretty fun group.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So many Terrans.
Yeah, this is the time of the Terran right now,
Yeah.
which everyone saw coming, man. When they were talking about this patch and it was being tested, every Terran commentator was like, "Oh, this is going to be really good for us, man.
Yep.
Be a fantastic next 6 months." And everyone was like, "Oh, you guys are so smart. You're right." That's exactly what happened.
Maybe we just need to bring in the brutal thing of like asymmetrical map design to make it more balanced for the other races. Balanced through maps instead of patches.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I wouldn't say no to that.
As a Zerg, I am totally on board for there only to be like one spawn in the base. One spawn on the side of the map that has like 3 free bases that are very easy to take, like as a pocket that Terran just doesn't get. I would be down with that. You know, they're surrounded by high walls, so things can't fly in. There are neutral missile turrets, so that teleport BCs that teleport on, they'll be attacked by that. I'm on board. I just have to make sure, not to build my overlords there, otherwise the neutral missile turrets will hit that. But I think it'll be perfectly balanced as a Zerg. Yeah.
Smart. Yeah, I think so too, as a Zerg.
Yep. No.
Yeah, I don't know. Have we figured out what it is? Like, has anybody put out a video that's like, this is why Terran is kicking butt right now in professional tournaments? Has anyone done that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Because there's nothing in the patch that you're like, oh, obviously, we missed it. It was in the patch. This is what the difference is.
Right.
Right? Like, they nerfed ghosts. They made ghosts a little bit worse. How are Terrans better?
I don't know.
It's just how they nerf the other races then. So Terran didn't necessarily get better. It's just that Protoss and Zerg got a little bit worse, and Terran's taking advantage. That's got to be it.
It's got to be. Either that or the Terran players are taking steroids, performance boostings. I literally can't think of any other reason. Because I have no idea. Maybe we should get an expert on. Like Pig or something.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pig would know.
Pig would know in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tweet at him right now.
Go for it.
Live information gathering during the podcast. Oh man. So yeah, we'll see a lot of Terran wins is what we're gonna see.
Mm-hmm. When does GSL start again? 4 weeks.
Yeah, this is not a good time.
No. Since when were there 2 off seasons in StarCraft?
They have to make us miss them a little bit.
I suppose.
When they come back, we like them.
Mm-hmm.
They never go away, then how are we supposed to miss them?
It's a good point. It's an excellent point.
True. Says the guy who posts a new video like every day of the week.
Yeah.
I understand this concept, I swear.
I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about why people react so badly to like mid-tier movies when they see something and it's like, whatever. But they act like it's the worst thing in the world. Which is YouTube has become so successful with its algorithm targeting content towards people that now when people watch something, they assume it's specifically designed for them because most of the content that they get is pointed, like aimed at them by the computer. And like, so you posting every day feeds the algorithm that the people who watch it probably want to watch something every day, right? Like there's a feedback loop in there. YouTube rewards its creators that post regularly as well. So there's incentives for you to do it. It's essentially why you do it. You could just be crazy and do it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do it because I like channels that post every day.
Oh yeah, see,
I'm not necessarily doing it for like the good of the channel because I don't think I knew that. Like I did not know that there was an actual benefit to me doing it this way, so that's good to know.
Well, I mean, content creators who post like once every 6 months generally have to have problems. Like, with their reachment or engagement with their subscribers and on the homepage and stuff like that, unless they're like huge channels, you know.
Yes.
It feels like something I've heard people complain about.
Well, sure, but like let's look at like Summoning Salt, right? He posts something once every like 6 or 7 weeks or something.
Mm-hmm.
He does a speed run, but he started doing that. He just started posting speedrun videos and they were infrequent.
Mm-hmm.
And he exploded anyway. So like
I didn't say it couldn't.
Out.
I didn't say it couldn't work.
It's just hard.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Anywho, nuts and bolts. Nuts and bolts.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Okay, cool. So yeah, StarCraft is coming back. It'll be nice. We will be happy to see it.
Soon.
Mm-hmm. Soon. All right. So I just I need like 3 minutes to talk about Yellow Jackets on Showtime.
Sure, that's the Ant-Man spinoff, yeah?
Correct.
Okay.
So my sister and her wife recommended Yellow Jackets like 2 months ago, and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I have time. Sounds fine, I guess. And like my sister gives really good recommendations. We both understand each other's TV preferences really well. So I wasn't like completely blowing her off, but I just took my time with it. Like she gave me her login to Showtime like a month ago, and I was like, cool. And then I just didn't use it.
All right.
But yeah, like last week, I finally decided, all right, let's buckle in and get this thing done. So, bang, it's good. It is some good TV. Really good actors, really good story, and the production quality is very good too. I guess I describe it as a spiritual successor to Lost, which was a huge show in the mid-2000s. It featured a plane crash. Both TV shows are just about a plane crash. The survivors trying to survive out in the middle of nowhere. There are some supernatural elements in both stories, and there are also flashbacks to the people before they crashed, and also Lost eventually started introducing flash forwards to their characters after they left the island. So
I thought they were
that too.
I thought they were parallel flashes to like flashes to alternate realities or something in Lost.
There's a little bit of that, yes. Okay, so they started with flashbacks, which made sense. It gave us some context to the characters that we saw. It allowed them to like shoot in other places other than this freaking island every episode.
Right.
It allowed us to see the characters in other places. Like this one dude, he's this like the nicest guy. He's always helping everybody. He's always smiling. He always has a story, right? And then his flashbacks, he's like a torturer for the military, like at a black site. That's what he did. And it's like, oh, okay, context, got it. But we're not going to get that on the island, right? So they kind of had to do it. And then they added flash forwards. I do remember that because it wasn't obvious. They showed something that wasn't on the island and everybody said, oh, it's a flashback, obviously. But then they wrote it in such a way that they revealed that it was a flash forward, future in time. And everybody was like...
Right, these two characters were like, oh, hey, I haven't seen you since the island. Man, that was the craziest 6 months of our life. Anyway, I'll see you next week, maybe. You know, that kind of a thing. Where they mentioned it in passing and was like, oh, that's in the past for them now. Wild.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they introduced Flash sideways. which for people on the show who are doing things at the same time but in a different location than our main character. So Lost was just all deep in the confusing non-chronological storytelling. And Yellow Jackets is like, yeah, let's do that. So Yellow Jackets is really into non-chronological storytelling.
Excellent.
Yeah. Anyway, it's great. I recommend it. It's like 9 episodes a season, and there's only 2 seasons, so that's pretty nice. And yeah, I can't really talk about anything else without spoiling the crap out of it. So that's it. That's my 3 minutes on Yellow Jackets.
3 minutes on Yellow Jackets.
Yep.
Fair enough. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah. Pretty good.
What's the supernatural element? Explain that. Without spoiling it.
There's a few different aspects to it. One of the characters starts sleepwalking.
Not supernatural.
Well, her sleepwalking is like her going outside and eating dirt, and her going outside and wandering and finding these trees in the forest that are marked with a specific kind of Wiccan looking mark
Mm-hmm.
that she doesn't know what it is, and she didn't know this tree was here, but her sleeping self totally does.
Mm-hmm.
And then the future version of this character kills the family dog, removes its heart, beheads it, and puts it on an altar in the basement.
Interesting.
So there's probably something going on there. And that's the trick of the show, is that they are not explicit that there is supernatural stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's entirely possible that everything in the show can be explained through mental illness, hallucinations due to starvation, just rationalization that acts you're taking, which are bad, are you need to survive to do them. So you like put a supernatural explanation behind why you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then trauma, like, maybe the reason our character is sleepwalking and killing the family dog while she's asleep is because of all the shit that happened when she was crashed out in the middle of the Canadian wilderness, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's that. There's one of the characters apparently has premonitions and visions of the future.
Okay.
But again, it's not super clear cut. Like, she sees a deer. She hallucinates a deer out in the forest with bloody antlers.
Okay.
And then like a week later, some characters go out hunting, they bring back a deer and it's got bloody antlers. And it's like, sure.
But it's also like where we live, people go out hunting all the time, and that's likely to prop up once every couple of weeks anyway.
Probably. Yeah. Right?
Okay.
There's a scene where she, like, it's a super flashback. She's like a 2-year-old. She's in the car seat in the back seat with her parents. They're at a stoplight. Her parents are kind of arguing about something. She's playing with a toy, and then she drops the toy and starts to scream. So the parents look back at her to see what's going on. While they look back, the light turns green, but they don't go because they're worried about their child. And this semi plows through a red light and like crushes another car that went. So it's like, and then after that happens, 2-year-old goes back to being happy again. So it's like, maybe she has premonitional powers. I don't know, man. The show is really not interested in making it a straightforward thing at all.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that she knew that by screaming, both her parents would look back and not just the one who isn't driving.
It's like some I am in pain, something is very, very wrong screaming. Like, if I was driving, I would look back at my child to see what was going on.
Okay.
It's not like a tantrum. It wasn't like I dropped my toy, life sucks, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's like disturbing.
Anyway. It's like one thing for a child to have a vision of the future and want to prevent it. It's another thing for them to be capable of influencing enough things to do that.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Lucky
That's the
kid.
thing. Right. Lucky kid sees stuff. Has some mental illness, maybe schizophrenia involving hallucinations. And every 1 out of 100 hallucinations, maybe you can tie it to something that actually happens in the future. Congratulations, right? Big deal. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the thing, is if the show ends with them being like, there was nothing supernatural, it's all mental illness, trauma based, then I think it tracks. I think it makes sense. I don't think anybody's going to be like, what? No, there's obviously ghosts and demons and stuff. It's like, no, they're not. They're not going down that road enough to where anybody can really be really confident that's what's happening here. I think it's more the story of trauma than anything else, which falls in line with like TV and movies in 2023.
Right. So you don't expect there to ever be a point where they're like, here is a ghost, here is a demon,
Right.
Here, like they're never gonna overtly. It's always gonna be left up to your interpretation of whether or not there's actually magic or mystical things going on.
Yeah. Yes. And the problem is that in the kids are in the woods starving to death storyline.
Mm-hmm.
They're starving to death.
Mm-hmm.
So they're hallucinating. They're not there mentally. They are dying. And so them seeing a ghost would be like, their brains aren't doing very well right now. Their body is shutting down. This happens, right?
Well, it depends if they're all seeing it or not, you know?
That's true. That's a good point. Like a shared hallucination is a little bit weird.
Yeah, massive hallucination is a thing. Like mass hysteria is a thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It would be pretty hard for me to look at a bunch of people who all give conflicting reports, probably, and be like, "Yeah, they saw the same thing."
Right.
Ergo, demons are real. But no, it sounds good. It's on Paramount Plus for me, which means I'm not signing up to watch it.
Yep. No, that's fair. I didn't want to sign up to watch it either. And my sister was like, take the stupid login. And I was like, okay.
Fair enough. Can I borrow your sister's login?
Maybe. I don't know if it'll work for Paramount Plus. It's a Showtime login.
Well, can I get Showtime?
Is it on Showtime in Australia? That's stupid.
Showtime? Like, I don't think Showtime exists in Australia.
That's why it's on Paramount Plus in Australia. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Showtime let me go to their website without, like, being like, hey, you're in Australia. Don't go here. Go to Paramount Plus. So I'll see if I can start a free trial and I might watch it.
Okay. That might work.
Yep. They have it on their home screen. Oh, no, there is a link here that's like Paramount Plus with Showtime. So that's probably what it's going to redirect me to. And I click start my free trial.
Probably.
I refuse to even use a free trial for Paramount Plus after they butchered the Halo TV show, so not happening. Sorry.
Fair. Reasonable, man.
Yep.
God, that was horrible. I forgot about that, honestly.
Did you even watch it?
I didn't even watch it. So
No,
I forget about it, I suppose. Man,
say.
you had some strong feelings. I remember that.
I still have strong feelings.
Yeah.
But time heals all wounds.
That's good. It's positive.
Yep.
Yeah.
I keep seeing Halo trending on Twitter, and it's just the people who like Infinite being mad at the people who don't like Infinite, being like, boo, Infinite sucks. And they're like, stop trying to ruin the game we like. You can't have Halo from 20 years ago anymore. Like, well, boo, the game you have now sucks. Like, you should just go play Fortnite or Call of Duty, play something like that if you want a modern Halo. You know? It's like,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just whatever. There's always going to be people hating on other people for liking something that they don't like, and vice versa. So
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I do. Okay. So one thing on Yellow Jackets. So Sleepwalker. Her plan for dealing with the sleepwalking is to never sleep, which is like.
Well, that'll solve the problem for like 2 weeks at a time.
I don't know if you can not sleep for 2 weeks.
You can.
What?
It's like, it's like the world record for going without sleep is something like 2 weeks.
Okay, world record.
Right.
An average person can do that.
Right, but it also won't kill you. Like, sleep deprivation won't kill you. You'll just fall asleep at some point. If you take a bunch of like caffeine or something to keep yourself awake, that'll kill you. But it won't be the lack of sleep.
And that's what she's doing. She's drinking like homemade espressos and taking like Adderall and stuff. And it's like, okay, lady, you are going to die. This is a terrible plan.
Right. There was a TV show or a movie, I can't remember which, that Rooster Teeth was going to make like 6 years ago and kind of fell into like production hell. It eventually came out, but I don't think it was what they originally intended. But it was called Day 5, I think. And the entire premise is if you fall asleep, you die.
Oh.
And so the entire story was based around people who were on the 5th day of going without sleep. And like there's a murder mystery or something to solve in the actual thing. I never ended up watching it, but I really liked that premise. As, you know, there's something, but...
Well, yeah, but I mean, that you just have characters who are super loopy. Like, just not all there at all mentally and physically, and yeah, that makes for pretty crazy stuff, I imagine.
Mm.
Huh. Man, 5 days.
Yeah. Day without sleep, it sucks.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Ooh, the menu.
Oh, yeah, the menu.
So this. Sounds all right. And I was like, cool. And then the other day, Omicron hits me up and is like, man, I'm seeing a lot of YouTube content centered around this movie, The Menu. Have you heard of this? And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Right, yeah. That is...
That's what happened. So I said, it's amazing. And Omicron's like, all right, fine. I guess I'll watch it.
Yeah, and then I did, and it was pretty good. Not flawless, but pretty good.
Yeah, pretty great, I would say. Definitely, I felt like my ticket was well worth it.
If I had seen it in theaters, I would have thought it was worth it. I did have some problems with like the conceit of the entire premise is that this chef has spoilers for the movie The Menu,
which came out last November. But
has decided to kill a bunch of like rich people who don't give back to society, who don't really appreciate culinary expertise on it for its principles, society, and they get to look down on. And except the flaw is there are several moments where it feels like he's very much movie I didn't like. Sure, he's a name dropping piece of shit, and he's writing bad recommendations for his assistant, who's also stealing his money. But it's like he was in a movie this guy didn't like, and now he has to die. Or, this person went to a university but didn't have to take out student loans. You die.
Right. It's not like every one of these people are setting up child sweatshops in Thailand, right?
Right. But the majority of them are... There's like a philosophical belief that this guy holds, and they're counter to it, Like, Tyler is an expert who looks to deconstruct all of his work.
Who's less an expert, more a fanboy?
Sure. I mean, he's an enthusiast, right? Like,
yes. When asked to produce something using all of his knowledge, he can't, right?
Well, he can't. He can't, right? And he probably couldn't it anyway. But like, he was also under exceptionally high pressure there. He's like looking at someone he's like deified, his idol, he's then surrounded and being told, make something like right now. Nothing planned, nothing prepped. He's not familiar with the setup. If you asked him, hey, this guy's going to come to your house in 2 weeks, cook for him, he probably could. He could make something that's perfectly fine for like dinner at home, He's not
not under pressure, not at a moment's notice, not while his idol's like glaring at him with malevolence.
Yeah, not while he's actively being humiliated by his idol. Right. Not when he's been outed by the people around him that he knew they were all going to die and has just let it happen,
Right. What a character, man. What an absolute piece of shit that guy is.
Complete piece of shit, yes.
Yeah. And to top it off, like, they don't tell you this when the movie starts. He shows up with a date, and it's Anya Taylor-Joy, and she looks amazing. And eventually it's revealed that his date that he had planned to bring to this thing broke up with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he needed to bring a date, so he hires an escort to come to this.
Oh. Ruh-roh. Discord crashed. Discord crashed. No.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah.
You back.
I'm back.
Okay.
That was weird. I am at the moment, so just aside, me and my housemate have upgraded our internet, or at least attempted to. And like we're supposed to have like something approaching gigabit.
That sounds nice.
Or at least half gigabit, somewhere around there. And like we upgraded our service, paid extra money, and they're just like, no, everything checks out on our end. It's like, but our service literally didn't change. Like we're still getting the same speeds, and like I don't know, send us some screenshots of speed tests. So I was.
It's not a fun. It's not a fun game to play because you're like, we're getting garbage speeds, and they're like, yeah, just restart your router. It's like,
it's like we did that. Come on.
yeah, right. Well, you did, but like 99% of customers didn't.
That's true.
Anyway,
Anya Taylor-Joy. When it finally clicks that she's like an escort, I'm like, oh my god, a world where Falcon has a chance.
Not wrong. But yeah, just the revelation that like this douche Tyler brings somebody with him to this death cult dinner and doesn't tell her what's happening.
Right.
What the hell, man?
Not only that, knows that like he's only going because he wants to eat the food. Knows she's going to die, but then like emotionally pleads with her to not smoke, like her comfort activity to calm her own nerves. Something that would have, in likelihood, made her more playable to the experience that she does not care about, but would have given him a smoother time of it. You know?
Yeah.
Like he is such a piece of shit. I do wonder though, if he hadn't been taking photos of his food, what would they have laser printed onto his tortilla? Also, can I just say that is my favorite joke of the entire thing, where like the three corporate dude bros who are like skimming money are like, "What is this?" And he's like, "It's a tortilla," and like, "No, but what is this? It's a tortilla."
Dude, yeah, chef's assistant, she's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she's not like any of these people, and she's not afraid to give them shit. Like she's great.
Yeah,
that was a fantastic moment. But yeah, just all through the movie, there's just little reveals. You learn more about every character that's in there, and all the little interactions. And like you probably didn't like any of these characters when you first met them, but it just gets worse like as more time goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then an interesting angle here is that eventually Chef figures out that Anya Taylor-Joy she doesn't belong with the rest of these people.
Yeah.
She's not one of them in any way.
No, not even remotely.
Yeah, so he tries to give her an out.
Sort of.
Yeah, kind of.
Like it's weird because she only gets the revelation to ask for a cheeseburger, one of the first foods he was ever like recognized at being good at making. Like his first job was like a fry cook, probably at a fast food diner. But there's a photo and an award of like employee of the month that he still has framed. It's like this emotional core, and she gets the idea because he lets her leave the restaurant briefly. So it's wondering of whether or not he's like, come to our side, you'll die with this, but is secretly like, no, go and check out this place. Like, you can maybe find something to use against me, you know?
Yeah, maybe almost like a subconscious thing. Like, he's not necessarily intentionally trying to give her something, but deep down, he does want her to survive. Anyway. Yeah.
Also, it raises questions of, like, the guy who was pretending to be a Coast Guard, or really was in the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
Like, he would have known, but he would never have come in if she hadn't gotten out and tried to call for help. So he wouldn't have died.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There are some questions about this movie for sure, but I just think it moves well. The pacing is good. There's dark comedy all over this thing. Like, I laughed a bunch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I laughed. I was afraid. I was impressed. It's like just, I don't know, a wide gamut of emotions there.
Yeah. It's good. I mean, I don't know what to say other than it's good because it's very straightforward. Otherwise, like there's not a lot to deconstruct because it is in itself a deconstruction. Like it's open by intention, you know. And it works. It's really good. I highly recommend it to everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that moment where, I mean, Anya Taylor-Joy's character has just been absolutely crapping all over the food the whole night. She's like, this is pretentious and this is garbage, and all you people are stupid for fawning all over it.
Right.
And like right at the height when everything's going nuts, she's just like, could I get a cheeseburger? And then, so he's like, okay. So he makes her a cheeseburger, and then the genie says she takes one bite, and she's like, can I get this to go? And that's, oh, it's so good. It's such a good moment because she's asking to not have to die here tonight.
Right.
But she doesn't say that, and he knows what she's going for. So,
Right.
yeah. So packs it up, lets her go. It's just, oh man, it's such a good ending. I really enjoyed it.
It is a good ending. Although, I mean, if he was really thinking about it, she didn't eat pretty much anything the entire night. There's no way she wasn't hungry in that restaurant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he knows.
He knows
what she's playing. He's willing to play along with it.
I'm more surprised that Hawthorne, this restaurant, that with the like, Uber exclusivity, has to-go boxes.
Right. That is kind of strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, how many people are leaving that place with a to-go box? Apparently more than zero.
More than zero, yeah.
Yeah. Don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, good stuff. Recommended. Falcon and Samacron recommended movies.
Just 2 thumbs up.
Yeah. What is not 2 thumbs up, apparently, is the latest Fast X movie.
Yes, so my double feature was The Menu and then Fast X. The
You'd think it's the 10th movie in the franchise, is it?
I assume so. If you don't count spin-offs like Hobbs and Shaw. Or maybe even if you do, I don't know. It highly unimportant.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Ludicrously unimportant to this film. I lost count of the number of times they used the word family. I legitimately went in to try and count how many times they used the word family. I think I got to 25 and gave up.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I am not surprised by this at all. So, yep.
Yeah, it is. There are several moments that are just like ripped whole cloth from other movies. There's a movie where there's a character who is Nick Fury. There is another scene where Vin Diesel is James Bond. You know? What? Okay, so you know in, I think it's like Skyfall, where Q is like, you know, I could do more damage at home in my pajamas than you do in the field in like a week. And then like maybe it's just gotten to a point where we no longer need, like, there's only so much a man could do in the field by himself, you know, with a gun. There's a scene where someone is talking to Vin Diesel is like, the time for what one man can do behind the wheel of a car is over. Like, treating him like he's basically a CIA operative, you know?
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. So they're just like whole cloth lifting stuff.
Yeah.
From other movies and just plopping it in there at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
It is really bad.
So is the Nick Fury part like, I gotta put together a special team? Like,
the Nick Fury part is he's standing in a black room and he's like, all right, let's start the conference call. And then there's like a bunch of anonymous faces popped up, like the World Security Council, like where he has to
Avengers movie.
Yeah, where he has to nuke New York, but instead it's turn in, it's remove the Toretto family is what they're called. Remove Toretto family as being an asset to instead making them the world's most wanted people and like putting the agency's resources into finding them instead of helping them.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
That character, that Nick Fury, is Alan Richardson, who is Jack Reacher.
Jack Reacher.
Yeah.
The really good Amazon Reacher show. Yeah.
Yep.
I like him. He seems like a charismatic giant of a man.
Yeah. No,
Was he having a good time at least?
he.
Kinda.
Well, I mean, do you mean good time is like, does his character live and do fun things, or?
No, I mean, like, do you think did he seem like he was having a good time being in this movie, or is he?
Oh, probably, yeah. No. He was probably in his wheelhouse. Like no one is really like super serious in this movie. It's ridiculous. Like it's a Fast and Furious movie. He's not. But you should really see him in Blue Mountain State because
Okay.
that's where I know him from, which is like a college football show.
Yeah.
Right. Which isn't about football. Don't be scammed into thinking that.
Bummer.
There are episodes where they play football. Don't worry. So he's like, he's capable of doing this.
Yeah. Does he get to fight anyone?
Yeah. He fights loads of people.
Nice. That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Positive.
I don't remember her name, but she plays Captain Marvel.
Brie Larson's in this.
Brie Larson's in this. She shows up as like daughter of the old Nick Fury, which for some reason gives her responsibilities or powers within the agency. Like not Alan Richardson's daughter, but the guy he replaced, like his boss, who either died or is in hiding. They don't say which. Like they're very clear to not specify that this character might come back from the dead.
Okay, yeah, that's always fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yep, she's in it. I don't know. It's hard to describe what her character does because it's like, I stole a super weapon. I'm going to keep it in my pocket. All right?
Yeah, as you do.
Right. Because like 4 movies ago, they introduced this thing called God's Eye when there was 2 characters, one called Pharaoh and one called Ramsey, I think, who were like fighting, right? Because they were super on the nose about everything.
Right.
God's Eye can apparently use any camera on the planet, regardless of whether or not it's wired to internet or not, to track for people. And every single movie since, they've had to put in a plot excuse for why they can't just use it.
Yeah, so it's like Harry Potter, where J.K. Rowling invents the time turners in book 3 and then is like, oh, this breaks everything. And all the time turners are broken in a later book.
Right.
Because they break everything. Yeah.
Right. So in this movie, Brie Larson walks into a like top secret facility, picks up this it's like the size, I don't know, like of like a playing card maybe. But it's a square, so it's not huge, right? Puts it in a pocket and is just like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep this here, so the agency can't use it to find the Torettos. But because she inevitably just keeps it in her pocket with her wherever she goes, the bad guy gets it, and then suddenly he can use it. No, it's a big problem. The bad guy who at no point in the movie had any problem finding any of the Torettos at any point can now use it again to find Torettos that he already knew where they were. Like,
glorious.
It's a mess of a movie, and I loved every minute of it. Until...
And it's a secret part 1.
It's a secret part 1.
God, why are they doing this to us, Omicron?
It's like, it's not even like Dune part 1 where it's like, yes, and this is just the beginning, and you like fade to black, credits roll. This is like, there's an explosion, there's shrapnel flying towards people, and then it's like fade to black. I'm like, it's a cliffhanger too.
Ooh, it's a cliffhanger part 1. Oh.
Yeah. It's even worse.
That is worse, because you're right. Dune has like we did a plot.
Mm-hmm.
We had rising action, we had the climax, we had falling action, we kind of chilled out. Okay, movie over, we've got another one coming next. It's like, fine. I'm kind of pissed, but like, I sort of get it.
Right.
But yeah, to literally cliffhanger the end of your part 1 is a much different experience. Which is, spoiler alert, what in Spider-Verse totally does.
Oh, really?
In the vein of part 1s. Anything else you want to cover from Fast X before I do thing?
Jason Momoa is really proving to me that he is in the Vin Diesel and Jason Statham level of acting.
Yeah.
which is not
He's
great.
huge. He was never gonna be freaking Mads Mikkelsen. He's massive.
Yeah, but he's massive in the movie. They're not making him look like a tiny little dude. But
Yeah, I'm just saying, who's the last like swole giant bro actor who's turned into an amazing Oscar-winning dude? It never happens. Those dudes are just dudes.
Nick Cage.
No, that's not him.
No, of course not.
He's not humongous. He's a skinny little guy.
He's not little. He's 6 foot.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, like, fine. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right? Arnold. That's as close as we've ever gotten. And
Look,
it's Arnold.
Look, I'm just saying that Jason Momoa in like Game of Thrones, really good performance because there were a lot of reasons that his character would be like that. He didn't have to work particularly hard because you just get to be like, try to act like you have a language barrier, and he probably went, huh? And he's like, perfect. That was his on-set direction.
Brilliant casting. It was such good casting for him.
Right. Yeah. There are definitely roles that are going to be for him. Even Aquaman is probably fine. But like in this, they're like, okay, put your hair into 2 buns and paint the nails of corpses. Like what? And it's like, how do you make Jason Momoa believable in that? Spoiler, he's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. That's problematic. That is a poor choice for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, Jason Momoa just needs to be a big guy who beats people up and throws spears as Aquaman, and isn't asked to emote really anything other than like battle rage, and you're good to go.
You're good to go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a perfect movie.
He could play Bane. Have him play Bane.
Right. Well, I mean, Bane's got a lot of lines though.
I don't know what you mean.
And like Bane's supposed to be kind of smart. At least the Tom Hardy version of it in Dark Knight Rises, that version of Bane is like this philosopher almost.
Right. In older Batman's, he's just like a dude on mega steroids.
He's a huge rage monster, right?
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's enough of Fast and Furious.
Okay, good. So Across the Spider-Verse, man, so good. Like the first one comes out, everybody's like, "Holy crap, that was way better than we thought it was going to be." They nailed it.
Yep.
Like the visuals and the voice performances and the story was heartfelt and really good, and there's a ton of catharsis going on, and wow, this is great. And then we wait, I don't know, 5 years. When the heck did this come out?
That's an excellent question.
Into the Spider-Verse came out in 2018. So yeah, 5 years ago, this movie comes out, knocks everyone's socks off, and then there's not a sequel until now. And yeah, I think it holds up. I think it holds up incredibly well. I just think the visuals are stunning. I think the performances are great. The storyline is really interesting. I think I talked about this in the Discord server. I'm not sure if you saw it, but so quick story time. Young Falcon, like young 16-year-old Falcon, goes to a comic book store for the first time ever because he was never really a comic book kid.
Okay.
And there's a Spider-Man comic, a new Spider-Man comic. It's called Spider-Man 2099. And I'm like, oh, this sounds kind of cool. So I bought it. Yeah. And it was weird, man. It was so weird. I was like, this is not Peter Parker. Who's this Miguel O'Hara guy who is Spider-Man in the far-flung 100 years in the future? This is weird stuff, dude. And I never bought another Spider-Man comic. So the movie happens, and they go to this like central hub for all Spider-Mans, and Miguel O'Hara is like running the thing, and I was like, this is so perfect. It made me laugh so much because he's like beautifully capturing the 90s angst of Spider-Man 2099. That era of comic books is just everybody's angst. Everybody's angry all the time because that's what they were doing back in the late 90s. I don't know why.
Sure.
But they nailed it, man. That is so funny. They just have references to 1960s animated Spider-Man stuff in there. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can catch every reference to everything that's going on in this movie the first time you watch it. There's too much stuff.
Fair enough.
Then they ended on a cliffhanger, and I didn't know. So apparently there are trailers where it's called Part 1, but I don't watch trailers of stuff that I'm not that I'm going to see anyway. But then later trailers removed that and it doesn't say part 1 on the ticket at all, and it doesn't say part 1 on the movie website when I bought my ticket.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all getting geared up. I'm like, yes, here we go. Our hero is in danger. His friends are gonna save him, and then it's like, we'll be back later, bye. And I was like, what? No, hey, this is not cool. Oh, so bummed. Then the good news is it comes out in March, so it's not like we have to wait another 5 years for part 3. But
True.
still, come on, you guys. Just like we talked about, end it on an emotionally closing note. Don't end it up here. That's not okay. You're just like Fast X. You don't want to be like Fast X.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a big part of the movie is just this idea that the Spider-Man multiverse is held together by every Spider-Man having the same traumatic experiences as every other Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this kind of good moment where Spider-Gwen comes back to hang out with Miles, right? And they're talking, and he's like definitely into her, and she's kind of into him, and he kind of like tries to make a move, and she's like, in every other universe, Gwen Stacy totally falls for Spider-Man. And then she goes, and it never ends well. And it's like, yeah, fair point. That's a fair point. So yeah, so are we dealing with fate here? Like, are you not free to live your own life because you're a Spider-Man and your life has to go a certain way, right? It's like this predestination fate stuff all mixed in there with the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, thinking about that too long is the kind of thing that ruins it for me, where it's like, oh, okay, so we know that this isn't going to work well between them, so...
Well,
yeah, is
it a hard and fast rule? We don't know.
Right, but I mean, if she's traveled enough of the Spider-Verse to know that it is, or at least highly likely that it just doesn't work, I mean, again, it also makes it harder for me to care about the regular Spider-Man things as well. It's like, oh, every kid who is Spider-Man had like their uncle die, had their Uncle Ben moment,
Right. Exactly.
And that is true. And it's a plot twist when for someone who's unfamiliar with the Miles Morales character in the first movie to be like, oh, his uncle was a bad guy and he died. And it's still hugely impactful for Miles. It's still his, like, with great power comes great responsibility moment, right?
Exactly.
It works really, really well. But knowing that it's, like, written into the laws of the universe across every universe that every Spider-Man will have the same experience waters it down for me.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. It's a kind of dangerous thing to introduce to your story, right?
Yeah.
So part of it is that the events of the first movie actually created the access to the multiverse. So it's kind of a new thing.
Right.
So part of the uncertainty here is that, sure, every Spider-Man we found in the multiverse has had this tragic backstory with Uncle Ben or Captain Stacy or Gwen, right? But is it an infinite Spider-Verse, right? Are there so many more Spider-Men out there that maybe 5% of them don't have to do this, right? We don't know because we're new to this thing. So that adds an element of uncertainty to the whole thing.
Who, if it's not a spoiler, who's the villain of this movie?
So there's a couple of them.
Right, because I know like Dr. Octavius, except it's a woman in the first one. She's in the first one, so is Kingpin and some other people, right?
Yeah.
But is there a primary one? Like Kingpin was the guy who was building the reality shatter. Yeah. Because if they like explore the Spider-Verse enough, in theory, you should find a Spider-Man who's the villain.
Right, and that's actually kind of where they go with it. Like,
really?
Good game sense there, Omicron.
My spidey sense was tingling.
Yeah. So it's kind of a stupid moment, but
okay.
Miles Morales ends up going to this kind of central hub for a lot of the Spider-Men that are involved in the Spider-Verse stuff.
Okay, kind of like a... why did my camera die?
I don't know.
The hell? Turn camera on. I'm back.
Oh, back. Yeah, neat.
Weird. Kind of like Wreck-It Ralph. How everyone from the game has like a. It's a bit like
There's a
that.
hub,
Yeah.
right, where everyone hangs out.
Yep.
Not everyone, because again, it's kind of an infinite thing. But like, there's like at least 100 different Spider-Man hanging out there at the time.
Right.
So they're explaining this to Miles,
Mm-hmm.
and they basically tell him this whole Captain Stacy thing, this Gwen Stacy thing, this Uncle Ben thing always happens, as far as we can tell.
Mm-hmm.
And Miles' dad is getting promoted to captain as the story is happening.
Right. So like
he's like, gotta save my dad.
Right.
And they're like, okay, but let me tell you something. Miguel O'Hara says, when I found the multiverse, in my own multiverse, I had lost my family. That was my tragic backstory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I found a multiverse where a Spider-Man had died and left his family behind. So I went there. And it was awesome. And I had a daughter again. And I had a wife again. And it was fantastic. But I didn't belong there. And me being there unraveled that multiverse. And it doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
So he's like, if you mess with canon, again, from my one-time experience.
Well, okay. So are they saying you can't mess with canon, or are they saying that because that was a problem in the first movie that like Gwen Stacy came from another universe and she was being in other universes slowly unraveled like the fabric of the reality or whatever. Like that was just a thing that happens. It's not because canon was changed. I mean, it's very meta to describe that as canon changing. But
well, being in a world you're not supposed to be in changes it, right? And changes the story.
Yeah. It changed, kind of, because I mean, there's a whole bunch of Marvel movies, right? And if we ignore the fact that this is essentially its own isolated thing, not with the MCU, but
this isn't Marvel. This is Sony, right?
Right. Well, I mean, it's Spider-Man, so it is Marvel. Like they're pulling from Marvel source material, right?
No, Sony owns Spider-Man, not Marvel.
But the comic books,
Sony owns the rights to movie Spider-Man.
Yeah, but they're pulling from a comic book you bought in the 90s, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true. So maybe Sony owns Spider-Man. Maybe they do own all the comics too. So film rights
is Sony, but Marvel still writes the comics, right? And because like Spider-Man still shows up in like the Avengers from time to time, or like in other
the comics, and for a long time he has, yeah.
So, but I'm just saying, like, obviously at the moment it's its own separate thing because of real world rights and stuff. But in other properties, just going to other universes doesn't cause them to collapse. It happens like every other Avengers movie, you know?
Yeah. Right.
Or Doctor Strange. Yeah, you can hang out there for a little bit, or at least not if permanently. Like Wanda was, you know?
Yes.
Or at least trying to do. But she was doing it through body hosting. But is it the same if your consciousness goes, but your physicality doesn't? Like, there's a lot of metaphysical questions. That's all bullshit. But
it's all magic. There's
right.
No answer.
It's all magic. There's no answer. So is just being in the reality a problem, or is it in a very funny meta note changing canon that's the issue for each Spider-Man's story, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, again, this is new.
Yeah, this is new.
They have a theory that that's what happened.
Right.
So the problem here is that they tell Miles this. They're like, your dad's probably going to die. It needs to happen for canon to be contained and for your multiverse to not unravel.
Right.
And he's like, F that. He tries to escape and go back and save his dad. Because of course he is. He's Spider-Man.
Right.
Why would you tell him this?
I mean,
tell him this.
I mean well, here's the thing. They might be telling him this because they know as a Spider-Man, he has to try.
Yeah, but they all tried and failed. That's
right.
Mechanic.
But they need to push him to try because if like they succeed in telling him and he's just like, okay, whatever, I'll let my dad die. That's pretty callous of a Spider-Man, you know? And then they get to like kick him out of their club for being a villain. Like, I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, that's the question. Is Spider-Man without an inciting incident of somebody he loves dying tragically and instilling the message of great responsibility and all that, does that create a Spider-Man who's just a dick? Like, who's a genius and super strong and really powerful and just doesn't care about people, right?
Well, I mean,
Maybe.
maybe it's possible because, like, in the first Into the Spider-Verse, they had the Spider-Man where Gwen Stacy died, I think, and he was married to Mary Jane, but Mary Jane divorced him, and he got like super fat and slobbish, you know.
Yes.
So it's possible that like Spider-Man, even with too much of the tragic backstory, just becomes not Spider-Man either, but not like a dick, just kind of apathetic to the world. Like the universe only cares for his suffering, so he's not going to care for other people's suffering.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's definitely a risk.
Who knows? I think the correct answer is whatever the writers want, but you know.
Yeah. For any particular story they're telling, whatever they want. Yeah.
It's a fun exercise to think about, nevertheless.
It is. So this is a roundabout way of me answering your question about who the villain is, because basically Miles is like, I'm out. Peace. You guys are wrong. Screw you.
Right.
And Miguel O'Hara's like, no, I don't think so. So he like goes nuts. He's super, super angry at this kid for trying to mess with canon and delete an entire multiverse. So he kind of turns into the guy he's the antagonist. He's preventing the protagonist from accomplishing his goal, right?
Okay.
So he gets really set up to be the antagonist, especially for the next film, but for the last 30 minutes of this one, like that, he's the guy.
Right.
Yeah, which is interesting. Again, having a Spider-Man who's ostensibly being motivated by good
Right.
ideas. Becoming the antagonist and the villain of in direct opposition to our hero, who is
Right.
Miles. So,
Right.
Yeah, and I listened to a podcast about it, and one of the points they made was it's really impressive that the movie managed to show us a Spider-Man movie with like 100 different Spider people, and yet still strongly communicate that our Spider-Man for this story is Miles Morales. He's the Spider-Man of this story. Like, it would have been really easy for him to get kind of drowned out by just the sheer volume of other Spider-Mans and Spider-Womans running around.
Right. Spider people, please.
Yeah. Spider peoples.
Yeah, I mean,
That was good.
yeah, I think that's probably easier than it sounds, because like
Yeah, maybe.
Peter Parker of the MCU in No Way Home, like little baby Spider-Man, still felt like the protagonist of that movie, and there were two other Spider-Men in that film who were also two, yes, three in total. Excuse me.
Right. No, but I mean 2, not 100.
Right. But we're much more familiar with those characters, and some people definitely prefer those characters. Like each of the Spider-Men that they invented for this movie might have roots somewhere in a comic book, right? But
100%.
you can't assume most of the people watching those films have seen all those comic books, right? At most, you have one other movie of background to pull from for like inherited knowledge or feeling towards these characters to make them the protagonist. Whereas like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield had 5 other movies in total, to Peter Parker's like 3.5 if you include like the Avengers and Civil War and stuff, you know?
Right. Good point. Good point. Anywho, recommended. I'm going to take my kids to see it this week. So
Cool. Hopefully they like it.
yeah, I think they will. They like the first one. I mean, they were 5 years ago is so much longer for a kid than it is for us.
Yeah.
For them, it's like, I don't know, I was
Ancient
like
history.
first grade. I mean, yeah, like I was a baby, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, my daughter was in kindergarten. Like that's how long ago this was, and she's going into 5th grade this year. Woo!
Yeah, that's a leap.
I might have to rewatch the first one.
Maybe. They're not going to remember it.
Yeah, maybe. Good stuff. The best.
Yep.
Yeah, this part we need to do away with this part 1 stuff, man. We got to figure it out. Just tell your story. I mean, someone in the Discord made the suggestion, just make a 4-hour movie and give us an intermission. Halfway through, let us get up and stretch our legs and use the bathroom and maybe get a couple more snacks for 15 minutes and then come back, settle in, and go again. This is what operas do. Operas are sometimes crazy long, but they give you an intermission because you need it. I think we could do it.
Yeah, but opera's a high class. You can't sell people on a 4-hour movie. It's just a movie. It's not an opera. Come on.
They used to do this. Friggin' the 10 Commandments is like 6 hours long of movie.
Really?
Ben-Hur's crazy long too. Yeah, like back in the 60s when they were kind of trying to figure out this whole movie thing, and all they had was plays and operas to
pull
go
from.
off of. Yeah. Ben-Hur running time 3 hours and 32 minutes.
It's pretty long.
Yeah, the 10 Commandments is 3 hours and 40 minutes. Okay, so it's not 6 hours.
6 hours. Combine those as 6 hours.
Pretty significantly longer than movies today.
Well, most of them, like Avengers, Infinity War, or Endgame, I don't remember which, is like 3 hours, 12 minutes, you know. The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King is 3 hours and something, you know, with the extended edition.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Oh man, that reminds me. I don't remember which movie it was coming out that had like an extended edition or whatever. I want to say it was like not Avengers, DC's Avengers, Justice League. When the Snyder Cut came out and it was like 4 hours, so there's a long movie for you.
Right.
Everyone was like, "Oh, we should get really, really long director's cut versions of like the Lord of the Rings." Peter Jackson was like, "I shot." Well, no, that's extended, not director's extended.
The extended edition of 2 Towers is like 4 hours long.
Right, but he was saying he has about 30 hours of footage for each of those films.
2 Towers extended edition is already 3 hours and 46 minutes.
It's not long enough. I want to see them take every step of the way from towards.
So hold on. So it's 30 hours total for the trilogy?
No, I think possibly. It's been a while, but I think it was like 12 hours for each movie or something. So like 36.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Again. Oh, so like, Lord of the Rings is kind of a part 1, part 2, part 3 thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but people knew that going in, I think.
Yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm.
And like Battle of Helm's Deep ends the second movie, and it's a really solid ending place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be like Fast X is like if the 2 Towers ended with Gandalf showing up, and then they're riding down the hill, and it's like, we'll be back.
Well, no, because that's still like, we know that the hero is about to save the day. This is more like Empire Strikes Back stopping when Darth Vader freezes Han Solo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just like a total downer place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's another good comparison, though. Empire Strikes Back. Like Luke loses his hand.
Mm-hmm. Han's
out his
frozen.
dad is Darth Vader. Han's frozen and missing.
Yeah. Leia's on the run with Lando Calrissian fleeing Bespin. Which, I mean, I could have just said the ending of that movie, really. But, like, if you, like, literally, it needs to be more dramatic than just, like, everyone kind of gets away or is in a place, you know? Free from immediate harm. In Fast X, it's immediate harm. Like, this is, like, you don't care if I spoil this movie. Nobody gives a shit. It's, like, when I saw the trailer, I thought, oh, okay, they go to the Hoover Dam. Apparently, it's the Hoover Dam in Portugal. So whatever, like, the Hoover Dam in Portugal looks like, they're there, and Jason Momoa planted, like, bombs on it and blew up the dam, and Vin Diesel and his son are at the bottom of the dam, and the rest of the Torettos were just in a plane crash after Nick Fury betrayed them, you know?
Wow. Okay, yeah. So immediate, instantaneous danger.
Yes, with
And
everyone's
death.
lives hanging in the balance.
Right.
Although there is one positive note where Michelle Rodriguez and Charlie Theron, I don't know how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Charlie Theron. Yeah.
yeah, I like, we're going to use your private nuclear submarine that you guys have had lying around in your backyard for 2 movies or whatever. Apparently, they just kept it. Like,
Okay, that's really funny.
yeah,
Oh my gosh, they just had a private nuclear sub hanging out.
yeah.
Oh, it's like on cinder blocks in the front yard.
Ugh.
Holy crap, that's great.
Yeah,
So yeah, Suspects bad.
terrible.
Suspects.
I'm really excited because next week I get to go see Transformers. Because
Oh no, the Beast one.
the Beast one. I really liked the animated Beast Wars show. Like, I remember ages and ages ago, my brother picked up like a DVD box set, and I just like binge watched all of those. They were like amazing, but I had a good time.
And that's what I remember. Like the animated Transformer stuff is pretty good, but the Michael Bay vision for them is not.
It's not Michael Bay. Michael Bay is not directing.
Is it the first one that's not Michael Bay?
I think so. Yeah. What about I think the Bumblebee movie? If you count that as like a mainline.
I do not.
No.
But right, that's a good call.
Yeah.
Stephen Caple. I don't know how to say your name.
I don't. Yeah. No idea.
Junior. He is known for Creed 2. And
Anything else?
Rapture, which is a TV miniseries, and a music video for Machine Gun Kelly.
Wow.
And
A movie called The Land.
The Land.
Yeah, The Land, 2016.
Yeah.
Yep. On Metacritic, the score is a 50 out of 100. Yeah, based on 10 critic reviews.
It's not great.
It's I really like to know why they picked this guy to direct the next installment of like what is a multi-million-dollar franchise. Like, it's not a critical success, the Transformers films, but they are profitable and like definitely, a thing. So I'm like, it's interesting that they got this guy to do it.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like he has the resume for it, that's for sure.
Yeah. Maybe it's nepotism.
Could be. There's a lot of nepotism going on in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it's hidden.
True facts.
All right. Well, on that note, anything else we need to cover?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah.
Good podcast.
Actually, I did want to give a recommendation for a book that I listened to. It's a Warhammer 40k book called The Infinite and the Divine. Highly recommend. It's about the alien race of Xenos called the Necrons, who are kind of like metal Terminator mummies.
Very Warhammer of them.
Incredibly. So they all live in giant pyramids and stuff that are like death funeral pyres, because like their race when they were people were like lived around a cancerous star, and like so they had very short lives, so they just built giant pyramids and tombs for themselves and then died and lived in them. Well, didn't live but died in them, and like that was their entire empire. And then some gods tricked them into becoming metal men, and now they're upset about it. But
what's the name of the book again?
The Infinite and the Divine, by something like Rath, Robert Rath, I think.
All right.
I
Play Store. Dang it.
no, none of the
Warhammer stuff out there, huh?
No, you gotta get it on Kindle, I think.
All right.
Kindle app.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. I had a lot of fun listening to that book.
The Infinite and the Divine. Yeah. Kind of a pretentious
Well, there are two characters. One's called Trazyn the Infinite. The other one's Orican the Divine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's names.
Got it.
But when your entire empire is now immortal living men, you tend to get a bit pretentious and grand with your names and like your deeds. So
Understandable.
yeah,
I get it. Get it, got it.
got it good. All right, wrap it up. Put a bow on it.
Yeah, I think we're good. All right, so that's going to be it from us today. This has been Summicron and Falcon Paladin. Coming at you with yet another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour. You can find us streaming this live at twitch.tv/Summicron. You can support the podcast directly at patreon.com/Summicron, as well as at falconpaladin.store.
True facts.
Cool. So that's going to be it. Thank you so much for listening or watching. And until next time, stay safe and stay healthy. And above all, take care of yourself.
Bye.
Goodbye.